थैंक यू। ठीक है।
हाँ सर, दिख रहा है, सॉल्व है, या दिख रहा है।
तो आशीर्वचन आप शुरू करिए।
जी, आप सभी को जय जिनेंद्र। जैसा कि हम सभी जानते हैं कि आज इस लेक्चर नोट में, जो कि आचार्य ज्ञान सागर महाराज जी की मेमोरियल लेक्चर सीरीज में 44वें नंबर का 44 नंबर, हमारे आचार्य विद्यासागर महाराज जी और ज्ञान सागर महाराज जी के परिप्रेक्ष्य में ये पूरा लेक्चर सीरीज कंट्रीब्यूटेड है। और इस संदर्भ में मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि आज का जो लेक्चर है वो डॉक्टर सुरेंद्र जी पोखरना जी के माध्यम से दिया जाएगा, और उसका संदर्भ है 47 आत्मा की शक्तियों का अर्थ है आत्मा का एक होलोग्राफिक विन्यास। और ये कार्यक्रम शुरू करने से पहले मैं आग्रह करता हूँ अनीता दीदी और मिस आणवी जैन से कि वो मंगलाचरण शुरू करें।
So Anvi Jain is not there, as well as Anita Didi. They have not joined, I think.
आणवी जैन,
कुछ प्रॉब्लम है अभी भी?
So Anvi Jain and Anita Didi has not joined yet.
मंगलाचरण के लिए डॉक्टर साहब आपकी आवाज म्यूट में है अभी।
मेरी आवाज?
मंगलाचरण दूसरे से करवा दो, नरेंद्र भंडारी जी से करा दो।
मैं आग्रह करता हूँ श्री नरेंद्र भंडारी जी से कि वो मंगलाचरण की शुरुआत करें। इस कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत होने के लिए श्री नरेंद्र भंडारी जी, आपसे आग्रह है मंगलाचरण की आप शुरुआत करें।
नमो अरिहंताणं, नमो सिद्धाणं, नमो वैर्याणं, नमो वज्रायणं, नमो लोये सव्वसाहुणं, ऐसो पंच नमोकारो सव्व पावपणासनो, मंगलाणं च सव्वे सिंह पद्मं हवै मंगलम।
और कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए इस कार्यक्रम के जो चेयरपर्सन हैं वो डॉक्टर किरीत गोसालिया जी यूएसए से हैं। सो वी वुड लाइक टू जस्ट समराइज in short the biography of Dr. Kirit Gosalia, who did MBBS from Baroda Medical College in 1970, finished the internal medicine from the Brooklyn, New York in 1978, completed the cardiology fellowship from the Boston in 1980, practiced international cardiology from 1980 to the 2008 in Phoenix, retired from the active practice of cardiology since 2008, studied the Jain scripture in detail since 1985. He is thoroughly involved for servicing for Jain community and constructing the Jain temple in the Phoenix. Widely traveled in India for furthering the spirituality from different sects of the Jainism. Apart from that, he is deeply concerned with the Jain classes, Phoenix, for more than 30 years. Studying of Jain scriptures that are propagated by Acharya Shri Kund Swamiji, by Gurudev Shri Kanji Swamiji, and also by the Srimad Rajchandra ji for the last 30 years. He was also involved for conducting the Paryushan and the Daslakshan Parv at the different part of the USA for many years. Delivered spiritual discourses on topics of the Jainism in different parts of the world, including the USA, India, Canada, Middle East, Africa, Europe, and at present conducting daily Jainism classes in Hindi, English, Gujarati on video conferences in North America for the last 15 years. The classes topics mainly include the Samaysar, Moksha Marg, Prakashak, Panchatir Jain Siddhant, Parveshika, and all in English languages, which is authored by the Jain Siddhant Parveshika and the Chanadhala scripture in English. Authored but not yet published in the Jain Dictionary of the Word, connected the Panchakalyanik Pratishtha Vidhi from the Digambar perspectives in the North America, established in the endowment chair on the name of the Gurudev Sri Kanji Swamiji at University of the Connecticut, University of Florida, Arizona State University. With this introduction, we would like to cordially invite Dr. Kirit Gosalia ji to hold for the chair and to moderate the afterwards, and accordingly invite Dr. Surinder Singh Pokharna ji afterwards. So the mic over to Dr. Kirit Gosalia ji.
Thank you very much, Chandresh ji, Chakresh Jain. And I'm privileged to attend this institution, and I'm glad that we have Surendra ji has taken the fantastic chapter on 47 Shaktis. Surendra ji, I wish I would have met you when I was in India, but our scheduling conflict did not make our meeting. But I have heard so much nice thing about you. And this subject, to take it to finish in 1 hour or something like that, it's going to be a really, really great challenge. And I know you are going to be ready for the challenge. You are extremely able. You have vast information, and you'll put it in concise way for all of us to know about it. So without further ado, I'd like to have Surendra ji start his class, please, and enlighten us about this 47 Shaktis of the soul, Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gosalia Sahab. Sanjeev ji, Sogani ji, Ayush ji, and all the organizers for giving me this opportunity to speak on this 47 Shaktis of Atma. I just want to mention the driving forces which have motivated me strongly to take up this type of work. My parents, my grandmother, and my Bua and Pupa, who have really encouraged me like anything. Then there are many Jain Acharyas, Acharya Kanakdanji Sagar ji Maharaj Sahab, then Acharya Nanalal ji Maharaj Sahab. Then I have worked with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi ji also. Then Pujaniya Kanji Swami, Acharya Tulsi, Acharya Nandi Ghoshi Maharaj Sahab, Swami Chaitanya Pragya ji, my PhD guide Dr. U.N. Upadhyay, then Mr. Edgar Mitchell, sixth man to walk on moon. He has also encouraged me. I have heard his lecture about it. Then Dr. D.S. Kothari, who has strongly encouraged me to take up this work of consciousness, and Professor E.C.G. Sudarshan, and Professor Brian Josephson, who is Nobel laureate. I have sent him 2-3 papers, and he has actually admired this work of Jainism, and my Professor K.P. Sinha. Then I am very indebted to Acharya Gyan Sagar ji Maharaj Sahab. I have attended almost all the conferences which he has organized. They were all extremely good, and they have also motivated me strongly. Dr. D.S. Kothari, as I told you, he has replied in his own handwriting a letter on a paper which I wrote some time back about this karma theory and how it is related with the quantum field theory. So that has also motivated me a lot indeed. This is the summary. Atma is a word used for soul in Jainism. A pure Atma has infinite Shaktis or powers, but 47 of them are major ones. Atma has infinite consciousness, infinite intuition, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, and infinite power, etc. But these Shaktis are not realized by a worldly Atma, because a worldly Atma is in association with material particles known as karmas, and they are there from infinite past. But through a process of spiritual evolution, one can move towards a state of purity and can become an omniscient, known as Siddha Bhagwan in Jainism. An examination of these 47 Shaktis indicates that it has properties of quantum entanglement and has holographic properties. A recent model of reality based on universal rewriting system and nilpotent quantum mechanics implies that observable reality and Atma may constitute two vector spaces which are dual of each other, containing same information but only one is observable. This model has some remarkable parallels with the Jain concept of Atma. The entanglement coming out from the concept of this Aguru Lugutta Shakti implies interconnectedness at three different levels for parts as well as characteristics. This formalism can provide new way of looking at reality which may go beyond reductionist approach of modern science. Now, why I was motivated to take up this work? As you know, I was working in ISRO, and in ISRO, actually scientists launch these rockets and satellites. So actually, whenever this rocket or satellite is launched, every scientist will be looking at the top to know whether the trajectory of the satellite or the rocket is as per plan or not. But I was looking at the other side also. I mean, that is the lower side also. And why? Because in the lower side, you can see very hot gases are coming out, which have temperature of about 600 to 800 degrees centigrade. So, as being from this childhood, I was taught about this jivas of Vayuka. So I used to think of how many these jivas are killed when these gases are coming out. And from there onwards, I mean, can any, I mean, any scientist can answer this question. And I have asked it to many, but they were not able to do anything. But a very large number of viruses and bacteria died because of this. So now this is a limitation of science. On one hand, science has actually helped us in making these rockets, but it is not able to produce small insects, but it is responsible for killing many of these jivas or insects. So this is another a very important issue which has guided me to take up this work. We are losing more than 25,000 biological species a year, which is a lot faster than we are discovering them. 150 billion animals are slaughtered every year for food. What effect do they have on climate? The half of the animals in the world have disappeared since 1970. Almost the entire decline is due to human activity through habitat loss, deforestation, climate change, overfishing, and hunting and eating. Earth is therefore moving towards what is known as sixth extinction. Now, so there is a need to compare the scientific knowledge with the concept of knowledge which is actually mentioned in Jain scriptures. So we know that science has given us mobile medical facilities, then rockets and satellites, and this Google network. On the left side, you can see the achievements of science, but on the right side, you can see that science is not able to produce even an insect or an ant, for example, or even a blade of grass. So this is a limitation of science. So there is something missing from science, and the concept of knowledge will come out from science. So that has further motivated me to take up this concept of knowledge through consciousness in Jainism. So now difference between scientific knowledge and knowledge through an Atma. Scientific knowledge involves study of an object through an observer. In scientific study, an observer gathers knowledge about an object through interaction with an instrument, which is an external entity. Scientific knowledge is therefore an objective knowledge and is repeatable at any place and at any time. However, it always involves human consciousness, which is final observer and interpreter. But scientific knowledge does not involve any knowledge about the observer himself or herself. Knowledge through an Atma involves both knowledge of external world as well as the observer himself, herself. So it is more comprehensive. So that is a very strong driving force. And then scientific knowledge is finite, whereas knowledge of Atma is infinite. And swa or par ka gyan, मतलब दोनों का ज्ञान होता है. So that is something big, something new for scientific community. Now, as per Jainism, you know that a pure soul has infinite intuition, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, and infinite power. So from where these infinities are coming. So these infinities actually clearly bring about a distinction between the scientific knowledge and the knowledge of consciousness. Then in this figure, I have shown that through the knowledge, through consciousness, there are, as per Jainism, there is Mati Gyan, Shrut Gyan, which I have shown on the lower side, and on the upper side, I have shown Avdi Gyan, Man Parya Gyan, and Keval Gyan. Now, this lower one are actually similar to the modern science. That is, modern science can express some of them, but the upper three, they are beyond the modern science. So that is the very different and a great distinction between the two concepts of knowledge. So there is a need to explore the concept of knowledge in science. Now, the limitations of science are being critically studied recently by Deepak Chopra and his friend, this Menas, this Keptos, and they have written a book whose title is "You Are the Universe," which shows that actually we are looking for the reality outside, but I mean they say that
8 बजे
they're inside. Similarly, there is a book by Rupert Sheldrake whose title is "Science Set Free." I mean, they said that science should be actually made free. I mean, from the bindings which it has, and he has shown 10 paths for new discoveries. So, what are those 10 new paths? So, I mean, these are the driving forces. So, this is a way. Now, what is a hologram? I mean, before I go toward the 47 Shaktis, I will try to explain what is a hologram. In holography, one records not the optically formed image of an object as in photography, but the object image bearing wave itself. This is done by mixing a wave with with a separate coherent this non-object image bearing wave or beam. Illumination of this record called a hologram with a corresponding coherent non-object anti-wave or beam reconstruct the original object wave yielding the optical object image. This image is practically indiscernible from the original optically formed object image, including three-dimensional parallax effect. Phase conjugation, the conditions whereby the object wave is returned in real or virtual form along its path, so the object image and the original object coincide. Now, this is a simple illustration to explain the concept of a hologram. On the left, there is a source of light which falls on a crystal, and there is a laser beam. So this laser beam is generated from this, and this laser beam is reflected through this splitter. So actually the one part goes up in a mirror, and the other passes through an object, and it falls on a photographic plate on the extreme right side. So there are two beams. Actually, one is actually coming through the object that is on the lower side, and another is the original one which is being reflected from the mirror, and these two beams interact and they produce an interference pattern. This interference pattern falls on this photographic plate, it is recorded, and then it is made pakka, and then actually, I mean, when we throw this light of this laser on this photographic plate, then the original object is generated again. So this is on the left, it is shown the holographic plate, and on the right side, when the laser beam passes through it, then each part of this hologram you can see, each part has information about the whole object. So one can actually extract almost all the information from one single part to some extent. So that is the meaning of a hologram. Now, I mean, this is a way that actually, I mean, through this holographic plate, actually one can display the original object. Which is explained. This object is there on the right side, and is able to see that. I mean, this is a three-dimensional scene. Actually, I can just give a simple example of hologram. That in the election of 2014, there was heavy demand of our Prime Minister to go to different places and deliver lectures. But I mean, the party didn't have sufficient time for this purpose. So what they have done is they have made a hologram of our Prime Minister, and actually this was sent to some constituencies. So here in this hologram, there is only information about our Prime Minister, but he himself was not there. So, I mean, virtually it means that hologram has information, but the actual object is not there. Now, similar, there is another example. Sorry, there is a woman here on the right side. She is from Saurashtra, that is South Gujarat, and she had put on 5 or 6 earrings in her ear at different parts. Now, on the left side, I have shown a scientific discovery which shows that different parts of our ear are very sensitive. Portions, and they actually, represent some connectivity with heart, kidney, liver, lungs, and so on. So what it means is those parts or those points, they have information about the whole kidney or whole heart or whole lungs and so on and so forth. So probably this body also acts as a hologram-like entity. Now this brain also acts as a hologram. This is actually well known now, and Pribram was the scientist who has found it out, and he has established it that our brain also acts as a hologram. So in an accident, if some part actually gets removed, then the other parts still can continue to function, and they have information about the about the part which has been removed due to some accident. So holographic concept is explained here also. These were some driving forces, and then I come to know there was a book by this Michael Talbot, also the holographic universe, which has a lot of examples about this holographic nature of universe. And then on the other side, I came across this book. This is Pravachan Navneet. It is based on the lecture delivered by Pujaniya Kanji Swami about 50 years ago or so. So it was written in Gujarati, but I understand Gujarati, so I read it thoroughly 3 times and very critically and as a scientist. And I just wanted to understand what these 47 Shaktis are. So I now start with these 47 Shaktis. First is Atma Dravya Hetu Bhut Chaitanya Matra Bhav Dharan Lakshana Jivatva Shakti. First power is life force or Jivatva Shakti. It is responsible for distinguishing a living being from a non-living being. This power is due to 4 attributes which are knowledge, intuition, bliss, and Virya power. Then second is this Ajaratva Atmika Chitti Shakti. Second power is non-physical, that is Ajaratva. Non-physical Chitti Shakti, it is equivalent to consciousness, and in contrast to Jivatva Shakti has only 2 attributes, that is intuition and knowledge. Atma is non-physical. Then third is this Anakar Upyoga Mayi Drashi Shakti. This third power is one through which the Atma has initial or a preliminary view of reality which is further knowable. Through it, one sees Atma Dravya, sees oneself, and sees all attributes, paryas of all substances, but only approximately. That is an overview. And the fourth is Sakar, that is Sakar Upyogmayi Jnana Shakti. The fourth power is the main Shakti of Atma Shakti, due to which one has detailed knowledge of self and one's own virtues and paryas, its own, plus properties of all other substances which are knowable. So this is something very similar to hologram, that it has, knowledge of all the objects. Then this Anakulatva Lakshana Sukh Shakti, fifth power is one due to which there is absolutely no worry. All living beings are trying to be happy every moment, but they do not know that real happiness lies within oneself. What it means is this, that once actually you focus on your consciousness or pure soul, then there is no need to be vyakul. So it is sometimes this is an anakulatva lakshana sukh shakti. Then sixth one, sorry. Sorry, I'm not able to. Now this is Virya Shakti, but it has nothing to do with the male semen. It is some kind of power which is there in this sixth Shakti. I think it is visible to you. It's not visible to me. I mean, because of this black strip. Then seventh is Akhandit Pratapa Swatantra Shalitva Lakshana Prabhutva Shakti. Seventh power implies that dignity of Atma is unbroken. It is independent and self-sufficient. It shows that it is such a powerful thing. It has nothing to do with matter or other substances. Then this eighth is this our Sarva Bhava Vyapak Ek Bhava Rupa Vibhutva Shakti. This is again very important. It means that due to eighth power, Atma Dravya pervades all the other infinite powers and their oscillations. So actually, some of these interpretation need further examination. So I request all the participants to, I mean, critically view them and, I mean, particularly, I mean, kindly give me your critical feedback about it. So due to this eighth power, Atma Dravya pervades all the other infinite powers and their oscillations. Then Vishwa Samanya Bhav, this Parinat Atma Darshan, Maisa Sarva Darshitva Shakti, Vishwa Samanya power. This is ninth power is such that through this one perceives all substances in the universe in totality, that is as a whole, which exists but without their details. So the details are not, but an overview is there. Then this 10th is Vishwa Vishesh Bhava, this Parinat Atma Gyanmai Sarvagyatva Shakti. Here, due to 10th power, Atma has a capability of knowing all substances, their properties, their instantaneous temporal states known as paryas of all substances present in the universe, and omniscient perceives all these aspects together and their past, present, and future also at the same time. So this is the type of information which is contained in Atma. Then 11th is this Nirupa Atma Pradesha Prakashman Loko Aloka Akara. So due to 11th power, Atma is formless, self-lightening, cleanliness power, having many forms through which all substances of the universe are reflected in Atma as in a mirror. The Atma Dravya has innumerable quantized units known as Atma Pradeshas. I mean, this is very important from that point of view, that Atma has Atma Pradesha. Now, this Atma Pradesh is actually very similar to a pixel which is actually there in the hologram. So there is a similarity between the two, in each of which all substances of universe are reflected like a mirror. This Pradeshas means smallest unit of space and hence that of Atma. This strongly supports hologram-like structure. This one thing, I mean, actually this one Shakti itself is, I mean, sufficient to show a similarity with hologram. That is a part of this contains all the information. This is very similar to hologram. Then this 12th is Swayam Prakashmana Vishada Swa Saumiti Mai Prakasha Shakti. 12th power is self-enlightened power due to which one has one's own knowledge and self-realization of it all the times. That is something very unique, I mean, which is not there in science. I mean. Then 13 is Kshetra Kalana Avachinna Siddha Vilasha Atmika Asankuchit Vikashatva Shakti. Due to 13th power, Atma can expand both across space and time, implies possibility of non-local information. Then the 14th is Anya Akriyamana Anya Akarak Ek Dravya Atmika Akarya Karan Shakti. Now here, due to 14th power, Atma Dravya is not affected by other substances, and also Atma Dravya cannot affect other substances. So they are completely independent. So this hologram is also like that, I mean. Then this 15th is this par Atma Nimittak Geya Gyanakar Grahan Swabhava Rupa Aparinamakatva Shakti. Due to 15th power, and Atma knows all the substances in the world. Also, other Atmas can know one's Atma due to this Parinamakatva Shakti. So this information can be transferred to others. Means others can also see it, I mean, have experience of this. Then 16 this one anyuna atirikta swarupa niyatva rupa tyag upadana sunyatva shakti. Due to 16 power, the Atma, its powers and oscillations are unchanged. That is constant, namely no increase and no decrease. The oscillations are going on periodically, I mean, just like waves. Then the 17th is extremely important. Shat sthana patita vriddhi hani parinat swarupa pratistatva karan vishishta gunatmika aguru lagutva shakti. Due to 17th power, 6 types of attributes increases and simultaneously other 6 types decreases during one oscillation parya of one samay. It appears that these attributes describe all sort of possibilities which can exist in one samay. It will be therefore able to explain the statement that parya in one samay contains everything. So this attribute appears to be close to quantum entanglement of quantum physics. Now here I have seen these a type of shaktis which are described and actually similar to what we have the waves concept like. So for example, in this table I have shown that on the left column Shakti 1, Shakti 2, Shakti infinity, and on the top row Samaya 1, Samaya 2, Samaya infinity. So in Shakti 1 we can have in Samaya 1 there is a Parya 1 1. Then in Samaya 2 there will be Parya 1 2. And after let's say infinite time there will be a Parya 1 but having this this Parya in infinite time. That is after infinite time. Similarly Shakti 2, Parya 2 1 in Samaya 1, then in Samaya 2 there will be Parya 2 2, and Samaya infinity there will be Parya 2 will be there in the Shakti 2. And similarly there are infinite Shakti. So this is the way to explain it. And these paryas, these oscillations are mentioned here actually more exactly in the Shakti number 18 and 19 they will be coming. So we will just go into those details later. So this type of represent has been termed as an ayat. This is very interesting actually that the concept of this matrix representation was known to our ancient Jain Acharyas, and Kanji Swami has mentioned it as an ayat. Ayat means a rectangle. So this is a rectangle representation of the infinite Shaktis. Now this is coming to Shaktis number 17. This is very important. As I told you, there are on the left first column you can see type of properties. There is losses of parts, gains of parts, losses of attributes, and gains of attributes. So, and they can be infinite, innumerable, and finite. So one can have this 12 different types. So we have this infinite parts are losses, innumerable parts are getting losses, then this finite parts are getting lost. In one samaya this is happening. Then gains of parts, infinite parts are gained, innumerable parts are gained, finite parts are gained. Then in the third row, losses of attributes, infinite attributes are losses, innumerable attributes are losses, finite attributes are losses. And simultaneously there are gains of attributes, infinite attributes are gained, innumerable attributes are gained, finite attributes are gained. So these 12 approximately, I would say, they reflect some kind of interconnectivity among these various Shaktis. So if you look at one parya simultaneously, this is happening at 3 different levels, and there is a gain and there is a loss. So this clearly describes that there is an interconnectivity of extremely high order. It is very similar to what we have this quantum entanglement type of thing. Okay, this 18 Shakti, this 18 power is such that there is simultaneous movement of all infinite powers at the same time, that is in parallel. But each power has its own oscillation, which are all sequential. There is Karmabadha Parya. Every power has a form of production, destruction, and conservation at each time unit, but all three exist completely independent of each other. So there is this is the way I think they have described the concept of waves. That is what I have interpreted. Now in the 19th, it is mentioned in the reverse order. Dravya Sabhava Bhut Dravya Vyay Utpad Alingit Sadrash Visadrash Roop Ek Astitva Matra Mahi Parinam Shakti. Due to 19 power, conservation, destruction, and production are impressed with each other, but sequence is opposite to that of Shakti number 18. So this sequence is, I mean, just opposite of what is mentioned in 18. So it implies some kind of symmetry in description. Now this 20 is this, I mean, karma bandha, upagam, व्यंजित सहज स्पर्शादि शून्य आत्म प्रदेश आत्मिका अमूर्तत्व शक्ति. Due to 20th power, and Atma has formless movement of oscillations of power, which do not have any binding of karma and so free from touch, smell, taste, color, etc. And this movement is there in all Atma Pradeshas, quanta-like units. Now, this again supports the concept of this hologram. It shows that it is there in each Atma Pradesh. It is possible only when there is a similarity with the concept of hologram. Then 21st is Sakal Karma Krat Gyatratva Matra Tirik Parinam Karan Uparam Atmika Akartatva Shakti. Now, sorry. Due to 25th power, Atma is confined to itself even in a living body, keeping its own separate identity. That is, it does not interact with any cell or its part or its groups. Atma is not spread up in the body of living beings nor in the raga of them. So it shows that these are different. I mean, it is there in the body, but it is not interacting with the karmas. It is having its own existence. So it is just also a representation of a hologram-like entity only. And some recent studies have shown that a neuron also acts as a hologram. So that is something new and which is therefore very similar to this concept. Now this I have tried to explain it through this diagram. On the left you can see that suppose there is a person in the fourth gunistan. Then if there is a vacuum, it is not like this that 3 Atma Pradesh are full of karmas and 3 are empty. It is not like that. So on the right, I have shown the incorrect situation for Atma Pradeshas. And on the left side, I have shown this correct situation of Atma Pradeshas. That is, it is all distributed among all the parts. It is all Atma Pradeshas. So I think from that point of view, again, there is a similarity with the concept of a hologram. Then 26. I am skipping these slides due to lack of time. Should I skip? Should I skip?
You continue. You just describe them, name them, and a little bit.
Okay, so this 26 is Atma has identical dharmas, non-identical dharmas, and also identical as well as non-identical dharmas with respect to other substances. Now, this is a beautiful description of Atma with other substances. That there may be similarity with other substances. There may be, dissimilarity, and there may be similarity as well as dissimilarity. So this is a wonderful way to describe identity and differences. Actually, David Bohm has written a good paper on this. So, this is beautifully described in this, how to define identities and how to define differences. This is an excellent example. Then this 27th is Atma has infinite powers with different characteristics, but there is one Chaitanya Roop, a conscious state which has all these dharmata Shakti. All these Shaktis are part of the single thing, Atma Dravya. Then the 28th is Atma has property to know, but doesn't have these knowable entities. In addition, Atma doesn't have property of ignorance. There are two powers which are contradictory to each other. Tadarupa Mayatva and Atadarupa Mayatva. Tad means Atma which has this Gyayak Swabhav, one which wants to know. And Atad means that it doesn't have anything gay, which needs to be known by others. So there is something now. Then this 29th is Tadrup Bhavan Swato Shakti. Basically it implies some kind of description between these two, this karma and Atma. What is the difference between the two? They have been described in this Shakti. So I will quickly go through them. Now this 30th Shakti, due to this 30th power, Atma cannot be other substances, Dravya, Shakta, Kal, Bhav or Form. Also, it doesn't have merit or demerit, demerit form and inanimate form. It cannot have any inanimate structure. So again, it shows that it's completely different. Anek paryay vyapak ek dravyamay rupatva shakti. It means that there are many paryas are associated with this, but there is only one Atma Dravya. So one Atma Dravya has all those infinite powers. And this next one implies that there is one Atma Dravya which has all infinite attributes. So there is some kind of symmetry involved in this description. So we have to look at it from two different perspectives. Then Bhut Avasatya Rupa Bhava Shakti. Due to this Bhava Shakti, some Nirmal Parya in the correct pure form is always there. This 33 Shakti implies that some Nirmal Parya, Nirmal in the sense that it has nothing to do with Rag and Dvesh which are associated with karma. So information about them is available in Atma, but it doesn't have this Rag Dvesh type of thing. So it is called Nirmal Parya. Then the 34 is Sunya Avastha Rupa Abhava Shakti. In an Atma, when pure oscillation is there, then at that time it has no bhav karma or other parya. So, there is a clear-cut distinction between the karmas and Atma. Then this 35, Bhavatya Paryaya Vyas Rupa Bhav Abhava Shakti. There is a power in the Atma known as this Bhav Abhava Shakti, due to which a Paryaya which is existing, Parya of Atma, okay, I will quickly go through the next topic because there are many things to be completed. Now, this is very important, and these are the last 6 Shaktis, which implies that there is a cyclic structure at a fundamental level. So, this is very important that actually one cannot go to a finer, small particle-like thing, but there is you will get some kind of this topological structure. So this is a karta, karma, karan, sampradan, apadan, adhikaran, kriya. It shows some kind of simply the cyclic structure. And this cyclic structure is there in the way information is stored in Atma. This is what it looks like. And I have talked to one friend. They say this cyclic structure is very important for storing the information. Particularly the information about phase is very much used even these days. So I think they had a concept of the cyclic structure at very fundamental level, which might be, close to the string theories also, this closed string theories also. And now come to this what is known as universal rewriting system and nilpotent quantum mechanics. This system is based on the assumption that zero shunya is foundation of reality. Hence, if one starts writing any alphabet, then the rest of the universe will always have its inverse, such that the total sum is zero. That is, +1 plus -1 is equal to 0. It has been used to study a fermion and the corresponding quantum vacuum, such that the total sum is 0. It leads to new quantum mechanics known as nilpotent quantum mechanics. If the fermion is described using a vector space A, then its dual vector space D is exact mirror image and will describe the quantum vacuum or 0 point field. The same term mirror is used in Shakti number 11. So you can see the type of parallelism which exists between this formalism and Jainism. Information content of the two vector spaces is exactly same, but their forms are different. But they have both local as well as non-local information. However, only one is observable. It is similar to Jain concept of an Atma, which is also not observable, but has all the knowledge which is possible in the universe. In case of Jainism, vector space A will consist of... So here you can see, actually, their slide has come. It was a part of some other presentation. So here you can see that this two vector spaces concept is very important, which is described in this nilpotent quantum mechanics. I have put this Akashastikaya, Dharmastikaya, Adharmastikaya, Pudgalastikaya, and Kala they will have all the information. So they will fall into the vector space A. Now, if we take a dual vector space of this A, then we will have all the information, all the knowledge about all these substances will be there. So the information which is there or knowledge which is there in vector space A is exactly identical, but this dual vector space is a mirror image of this vector space A, but it is not observable as per this nilpotent quantum mechanics. So there is a very strange similarity between the two formalisms. So the concept of mirror which they are talking about and the concept of mirror which is being discussed among these 47 Shaktis is absolutely remarkable that way. So, I mean, this is a simple diagram. We show that if we have an object on the left side and the image will be there on the right side in a mirror. So this is just a simple two-dimensional mirror. Now, in my opinion, Atma appears to be infinite dimensional image in a mirror-like entity of the total reality, which is knowable. So, universalism and Jain concept of Atma. This model can explain the old age problem of duality. 4 types of jnana, Shrut, Mati, Avdi, Manparya involve both local and non-local information. Keval and only non-local information. I mean, that is what I feel. The concept of Keval Gyan seems to be a generalization of the non-local information observed in modern scientific experiments. At the time of Samudghat and Atma occupy the whole pure hologram and ultimately goes to the Siddha Shila. As all information is located on the surface of a hologram, this is probably equivalent to a concept of Siddha Shila. As we have seen in the case of hologram, all the information is stored in a two-dimensional surface, that is, the photographic plate. Similarly, Siddha Shila appears to be, a two-dimensional system where all the information is stored about the universe. Then quantum entanglement at this Paraspar Graha Jivana. Quantum entanglement and holographic structure of Atma indicate that we are all interconnected in a very complex way. Many of the problems of the world will be solved if we recognize the importance of this interconnectedness in day-to-day life. This hologram is more complex than the classical or a quantum hologram. Let us term this as a, Jain holographic model of Atma. So we have the classical hologram, quantum hologram, and Jain hologram of Atma. This I have covered, sorry. The quantum entanglement and holographic structure of Atma indicate that we are all integrated in a complex way. This I have covered. There is a difference between classical hologram and quantum hologram. In classical hologram, a coherent laser beam splits into 2 parts. This one part directly falls on the photographic plate, and in the case and the other part is reflected from the object whose hologram is desired. These 2 beams interfere with each other, producing an interference pattern such that each fraction of the interference pattern has all information but partial only about the object. When photographic plate is exposed with laser light, then the 3-dimensional image light field is produced again. But in the case of quantum hologram, every material body emits and absorbs some radiation into or from the 0-point field. These contain quantum information which is non-local and has all history of the quantum states of the system. For living beings, these radiations are very coherent due to non-locality. Instantaneous transfer of information is possible and this information is not attenuated. Involvement of this non-local information, 0-point field or vacuum states are involved in this. This information is storage and its recall is called quantum hologram. Now, so this quantum hologram is actually more closer to the concept of Keval Gyan and this hologram. No, I will not just cover into this, but I have tried to show that this current science has shown that this non-locality is there. This Alan Aspect is the person who started this work, and he had shown that the correlation. It's now become being a well-known experiment with Einstein, this Podrowski and Rosenfield. Actually, they were talking of the EPR paradox. Then we have 2. I have shown this diagram here. There is a source of light at the center, and the 2 photons are emitted If one goes on the left and another goes on the right side, and then two detectors are mentioned there on both left and this right side, and they try to estimate the coincidence rate of two photons which have the same spin or opposite spin, and they've shown that if you put an experiment on one of them and if it shows plus half spin, then the other becomes automatically minus half. And whatever with the distance, they started with a distance of 6 meters, but now they have gone up to few kilometers, and they have shown that it exists. Means the information that an experiment has been done on first photon immediately, instantaneously goes to the second photon, and it just changed the position. So it is as if they are connected non-locally. There is no physical mechanism involved in that. So this seems to be very close to concept of our Keval Gyan. Now, these were the person who got Nobel Prize in 2022 for this work: Alan Aspect, Anton Jellinger, and John F. Clausen. Now, this holographic like border can solve the problem of string theory and quantum gravity which are being faced. One Chinese lady has worked on this, and she has used the concept of this hologram to solve the problem of string theory and quantum gravity, which are becoming very difficult problems in fundamental physics. So this I will not read it, just for information. In quantum entanglement, two particles in a single entangled state, such that measuring property of one particle instantaneously determine the same property in another particle. For example, two particles are in a state where one is spin up and other is spin down. Since the second particle must have the opposite value of the first particle, measuring the first particle results in a definite state for the second particle, notwithstanding the fact that the two particles may be millions of kilometers apart and are not interacting with each other at the time. In 1935, when physicist Albert Einstein, Boris Podolsky, and Nathan Rosen analyzed quantum entanglement, they thought that this conclusion was so obviously false that the quantum mechanical theory on which it was based must be incomplete. But this turned out to be wrong, actually. They concluded that the correct theory would contain some hidden variables features that would restore the determinism of classical physics. That is, the particles must be in some definite spin even before they are measured. This was not correct, actually. The Jellinger and his collaborators used this quantum entanglement in 1997 to develop quantum teleportation, in which a state is transferred from one particle to another. This is done by entangling one particle in an entangled pair with a third particle. The third particle then has the properties of the other particle in the original entangled pair. In 1998, Jellinger and his collaborators were even able to entangle two particles they did not have the same origin by entangling one particle each from two different entangled pairs. The other particles in the pairs became entangled. Such work has served as the basis of initial efforts in quantum cryptography, in which entanglement is used to create a secure key in 2006. So the Jellinger and his collaborator established a secure key between the island of this La Palma and this Tenerife, 144 kilometers away they are. But those particles were connected. So there is a strong evidence of this non-local transfer of information. Now this non-locality has been found in the brain also, that here each neuron consists of these microtubules. On the right side, I have shown a neuron on the top. So each small line actually indicates a microtubule, and on the right side at bottom and the left side also at the bottom, I have seen that each microtubule further consists of these rods, and each rod has some smaller particles known as tubulins, and these tubulins all act as a quantum mechanical system. So among thousands of neurons, there are millions of tubulins, and when these tubulins, they oscillate through this quantum mechanical process, they are also getting connected through this non-locality. And so So there are strong evidences that the tubulins act as basic units of quantum computers like bits in classical computers. Here they are called qubits. By nature, there can be infinite parallel processes going on in them. There can be situations where such quantum computers are possible even at biological temperature. So it will give a totally new perspective. So this non-local information is there in our brain also. And this is a simple computation shown in this, that if we look at only the classical conductivity in the brain through this electrochemical pulses, then one can have bits of information, something like 10 to the power 17 per second. On the left side, I have shown by doing some simple calculation. This has been done by Professor Hembrock, and if we use this the quantum entanglement, then this is non-local, and here the rate of the performance actually of the computer which is there in our brain, it could go up to 10 to the power 27 oscillations per second. There is a huge increase in the capacity of this will be there. Probably, I think this is involved in the process of the some Shatabdan also. Now here is an article from this Gujarat Samachar. It is written in Gujarati. It shows that ઉપનિષદોની જેમ ભૌતિક વિજ્ઞાનની હોલોગ્રાફિક થિયોરી બધે પૂર્ણ અખંડિત સમગ્રતા પ્રવૃત્તિ હોવાનું પ્રતિપાદન કરે છે. This shows their concept of holography and Atma and Brahman in Indian philosophy. It is there, which is true actually, and which is actually supported by the modern theoretical study. So now we have another example that the Reiki, for example, what is the mechanism through which Reiki works? And Reiki works at over long distances also. And in the same way, the fMRI and MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, and the functional magnetic resonance imaging, they also work on the principle of this non-locality only and this non-local information transfer. So I think this is sufficient. I will not go into the details of this, but I have found that even our acharyas have seen small particles of matter through this holographic system. So I have tried to show some examples in which size of atoms and nucleus were estimated by our ancient acharyas, and they are in close agreement with the findings of the modern science. Here I have shown some measurements, and if you look at the 12th step, one angul is 8 to the power 12 times the size of an Ausanna Sanna skand. So probably they have seen the skand, that is the smallest particle of matter. And similarly, this Annie Besant has claimed that she had seen the structure of hydrogen and up to uranium, that is 92 elements, through some siddhis. And we have proposed a model that it was possible if we treat this as a hologram. There is a hologram of the brain, and there is a hologram at very fundamental level of particles which are smaller than quarks, for example. What she has seen, Annie Besant, on the left, we have seen that for hydrogen atom, I have illustrated that hydrogen atom is generally one proton and an electron going around it. But what Annie Besant has seen is the hydrogen atom shown in the middle, and she has seen about 2 triangles. Each triangle is having 3 spheres, and each sphere is having 3 small spheres. And when these 3 small spheres are zoomed further, then she has seen some kind of cyclic structure at very fundamental level. And this appears to be close to the concept of string theories. So actually what I would say is the concept of this hologram could be very powerful, and information transfer may take place through hologram. And when you are talking of Ahimsa, for example, then we are all connected through this big hologram. All the living beings are, particularly, connected through this hologram. So if we say, harm one jeev, then the whole system will be disturbed. That is what it looks like. So I just end it here, and we have done some calculation for this, which has shown that what Annie Besant has seen are particles smaller than quarks, which are not yet studied in the modern science. And then here also to reference Sorry, thank
So I
you
am
very
very
much.
thankful to all of you for patiently listening to my talk, and I am also thankful to Center for Consciousness Studies, University of Arizona.
This is some
and
old slide. Sorry. So I stop sharing here. So due to lack of time, I had to rush up very hard, very fast, and there were many things to be covered actually. Probably
Actually-
thought it would have been divided into two parts.
Dr. Pokharna, this is amazing, amazing information you are giving in a very short time. Actually, 47 Shaktis I have studied in extreme detail, and each Shakti needs 2 or 3 classes practically.
Yes.
So to just give the to tell you within one sentence, one minute about one Shakti is not appropriate. But again, you try to do so much, because not only Shakti, but then you also try to connect with the physics and the modern physics and Atma. And that's an amazing amount of information. And I wish we had lots of time to just know a lot more things that you presented. You have done an amazing amount of work, and I'm really fortunate to be part of this lecture to understand some of the things. So at least we are going to open the floor over here for questions. Surendraji is available, so we can ask questions to him. And so let's go for it, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Actually, I am planning some kind of workshop where we can go into the detailed interpretation of the 47 Shaktis. I have talked to Acharya Kanaknanji Maharaj Sahab also for this purpose, and we will call this workshop shortly.
Very
we will
nice.
go into details of this.
Yeah. No, and actually, if somebody goes through it in detail, actually, these 47 Shaktis are not 47 Shaktis, but they're interconnected. Jivatva Shakti means my existence. What is my existence? Is a consciousness. What's a consciousness? Chitti Shakti. Chitti Shakti is what? Means Gnan and Darshan. And so all those things are flowing into each other, and there is a connectivity with each other.
Yes.
And again, as you said, that there is 47 Shakti, the infinite powers are there in the soul. But Amritchandra Acharya Dev was able to find 47 Shaktis. And Gurudev Sri Kanji Swami, he, from his own manthan, he found that 54 more Shaktis also. And these are the super human beings that they had an extreme intellect, that they were able to find all these things for us. So science has not scratched even the surface of these things, so that's really good. Any questions, please go for it. And it's lots of questions could be there, I'm pretty sure, At least I have lots of questions, but then let's have the other people take chance. Yeah. Dr. Jain Sahab, go ahead, please, because this is your subject with neurons and everything, and then Atma. So I'm pretty sure you have lots of questions. Go ahead, DC Jain Sahab.
Thank you very much for allowing me to share my view that when we were discussing the consciousness, we tried to localize the anatomical site of consciousness in the human body. And the two important experiments were done. That one, in the first, there was a transaction was done below the medullary and the spinal cord junction. And in that, we found that the consciousness was intact. And when we sanctioned the upper part of the brain stem, and then the consciousness was lost. So we surmised that the consciousness, or rather the pacemaker of brain, is located in the reticular activating system. And that area consists of 3 parts: reticular activating system, locus coeruleus, and area postrema. These are the three anatomical structures which were localized. And subsequently, we found that many metabolic disturbances also suppress the consciousness. So we could not conclude that the anatomical substrate for the consciousness is localized only in the brain stem. It has a wide dimensions of other areas where the consciousness is stored. And therefore, the Jaina concept about the consciousness, that the consciousness is present in all parts of human body, including the little ones. And that is that the consciousness is a multi is distributed all over the human body rather than localized to area. In a particular infarct in the brain, suppose somebody has an infarct in the brain, so there is a sensory deficit, suppose in a localized area. So we don't call that area is dead. That consciousness is there, but sensory loss is only a subjective feeling. This is a very important subject. And recently, I would like to invite Kiritji that we are going to organize a Department of Spiritual Sciences at a prestigious institute of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. So we would like to discuss this part in a great detail. Very fortunate that the Pokharnaji has highlighted this subject very nicely. At least he has opened that we must think about it. So I would like to extend the invitation, which includes to all of you, and you can participate online or in person also. So you just let me know that how we can proceed and how we can settle down this issue. Our aim is that we want to develop this Department of Spiritual Sciences from the point of view that we want to give a liberty to the dying people that who wants to die peacefully, say equivalent to Sallekhna. So we would like to give some sort of psychological support, moral support, spiritual support, palliative treatment, and everything. So that would be our effort to establish this department. So we would like to have your comments also, Kiritji.
Very good. Thank you very much. And that's a really, really amazing way to have the initiative, because, you know, there is a connectivity has to be made. There is a disconnect between the science and the spirituality. And science says seeing is believing. I'm in the ocean, and whatever I see, that means that those amount of fish are there. But of course, that infinite fishes are there, but I have to prove it. So science goes, seeing is believing, but then when we go in detailed analysis of the structure and function of the soul, then we say that science is coming towards slowly. Now, Surendra ji, aapne bataya ki, 10 to the power of 28 or something like that, that can be found. But then Jainism says that in the knowledge in a blink of an eye, 10 to the power of 46 and beyond samay passes by. So slowly science is coming up, creeping up. But again, that's really a great thing. And I think DC Jain Saab, your suggestions to integrate both the system, I think that will be good. I'll be more than happy to be part of it,
Thank you very much. And Pokharnaji, you have done a remarkable job today that you opened the subject for discussion in the future also.
Yes.
So congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir. The small beginning. Actually, I want to involve some experts also who are very good at these things, and we just collectively discuss all these things and arrive at some unanimous decision. Actually, in the Scientific American of this March 2023, there was an article by one Indian expert who has written that that visiting the concept of holography and the development in last 25 years. And there was some title of this type. So people are looking at the concept of hologram now very seriously.
Surendraji, one thing that you mentioned, which I did not did not understand well, you said Keval Gyan does not know the self or something like that. That Keval Gyan slide, I didn't understand much better. If you can please little expansion on that sentence,
Nah, actually, I said that actually what people are talking about is non-local information transfer. That is instantaneous. So I think this Keval Gyan, what people are talking about Keval Gyan is actually generalization of this non-local information which science has discovered. So on a much bigger scale, that could be Keval Gyan only. The science is approaching toward that. This is what it looks like. And through this Keval Gyan, one can see the internal world as well as the external world, because it is non-local. For example, Reiki. In case of Reiki, there is instantaneous communication over large distances, and these patients can be cured. There are examples of this. Now, how it happens? It cannot happen through these electromagnetic waves, for example. It is not possible. So, some kind of mechanism of this type is involved. Similarly, in this Avdi Gyan and these parapsychic processes like telepathy and the clairvoyance also, there is instantaneous transfer of information over long distances, and there is no physical mechanism actually non up till now. So that is what it looks like, that there is a non-local information transfer which is beyond space and time. So I think that is involved in this process also. So,
Very good. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anybody else?
Sir, with your kind permission, I have one query here.
Please.
Yeah, the entire lecture is actually like very, very insightful and very, very ethical, and to define this different shaktis of the Atma and linking with hologram. Sir, in Shakti's number 25, one statement was said like Atma is not linked with cell or neurons. So, sir, if you could, just put more light on this aspect, and in connection, because when we talk for human system in the inside the body, there is a microbiome, which is a large amount of living systems are living within living systems. The colonies are more than 10 power 20, approx 12 to 15 approximately, which is residing in our intestinal region. So I could not able to connect actually these two things, that how it would be.
Now, as far as I have understood, sir, what it means is that there is an information system which is there in our body.
Right.
But that is non-local, so it is spread all over the body. So it is not attached to a particular cell or a particular organ. It is spread all over the body. That is what I have understood. So it is non-local, basically non-local.
Non-local.
But actually, I am trying to understand it that this concept of this non-locality is involved in the instrumentation of this magnetic resonance imaging (MRI) and this functional magnetic resonance imaging also. This concept of this non-locality has been used, and those machines work on this principle only. There is one German scientist, Scamp. He has developed this theory, and it has been used. But I am trying to find out an expert who can throw some light on this. But I have some papers in which it is mentioned that how MRI and this fMRI work on the basis of this non-local information. And using this non-local information, they claim that they are able to do better diagnosis at very fundamental level, at very basic level. And they can collect more information about the biological cells. Science is moving in that direction. Actually, the recent, the latest, this Nobel Prize in Physics for this year, 2023, it has gone to person who has worked on this attocycles. Attocycles means 10 to the power 18 cycles per second. So they have been able to, produce lasers having this type of high frequency. And they say that with this type of attocycle laser, they will be able to study even the structure of electron, what is happening in the electron, for example. So science is moving very fast in those directions. But
Yes.
what Atma has the information about all these things. But it doesn't have those things inside it. It has all the information about them. That is what I have tried to understand.
Nice, sir. Nice. Yeah.
But I would like to end it with one of my personal observations that
Sure.
actually while reading this book, I was getting many problems and I used to get stuck up at many places. But somehow you will not believe that I read this book during the time of COVID. And at the time of COVID, I used to go out to feed animals like cows and dogs. I used to feed them actually with this milk and tomatoes. And you will be surprised and you will not believe that while feeding them, those problems used to get solved. So some kind of coherence or some kind of holography was involved among those animals and myself. I mean, that is my personal observation and I give it great importance. I mean.
Very good. Very nice. Good.
Or I will be meeting some person who will be able to help me in solving those problems. Some physics person or somebody, I mean. Just by chance, I mean. So that is interesting phenomenon I have found.
You know, one thing just mesmerizes me, Dr. Pokarna, that, you know, science is talking microscopic, submicroscopic, and atomic level, and electronic level, electron level, everything. But that is the knowledge for all the matter particles we are talking about. And the soul is a non-matter particle and conscious element. So how to correlate with the conscious element with the non-conscious matter objects. So there is going to be a big things to think about, you know.
Yeah, actually, sir, actually a lot of work is going on in this direction. In this Arizona University, there is one Professor Hamroff. Actually, they are organizing one single conference on consciousness every year from last 30 years or so. And about 500 abstracts are there in each of these conferences. So they are trying to understand. It involves experts from different fields, and actually they are doing extremely good work. I mean, so we should also form a small group of experts here who will go into those activities and those things, and so that we can also do better justice.
When you say University of Arizona, that's in my backyard over here. I'm in Arizona here. So, and my kids went to University of Arizona, all 3 kids. So maybe if you can share me the information, then I can find it out about those people. And
yes, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
please.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I will take your address.
So we can stop.
I'm sorry.
I will take your
stop here.
address email.
Yeah, mine is simple. Kirit.gosalia@gmail.com.
Acha.
Kirit.gosalia@gmail.
What is the spelling of Gosalia?
Right now on the screen you can see Gosalia.
Acha. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Well, Surendraji, you have done a fantastic job. If there's more question, we can take it. Anybody else has any question? Because there's a last call, because I think we are about the time, but still, we started a few minutes late. So if there is a question, we can take one more question. If not, then we'll be closing. Last call? No? Yes? Okay. All right. So, Surendraji, thank you for enlightening lecture and everything. And I'm pretty sure you have done thousands, hundreds of hours of work to just present 1 hour of our presentation. And my hats are off to you for your all the efforts and everything. And hopefully next time, if I'm in Ahmedabad, I would like to meet you and have a person one-to-one conversation with you. Okay.
You are most welcome, sir. आइए आप
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for so much appreciation. और डीसी
That's
जैन
right.
साहब आपको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Yeah.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you.
Chakrashi, you can
Yeah.
take over.
चक्रेश जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद साहब.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Pokharna sir. Such a wonderful lectures and very, very useful, especially for people who are actually entering into this field, linking science with Atma and soul. And apart from that, I am really thankful to listen to Dr. Kirit Gosali. Very nicely explained each and every perspective of from scientific point of view, linking every aspect, and in such a beautiful way that it is really very easy for us actually who is trying to understand something out of that. So again, for this wonderful session, Dr. DC Jain and his comment, as usual, for this, and rest to all people who have joined this beautiful session. For you all, thank you very much, and Jai Janendra. So with your
Jai
all
Janendra.
permission, now we can just
Jai Janendra.
quit this session. Yeah.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Can you, one more thing, Pokharna-ji, would you be able to share your slides, please?
Sure.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, bye. Okay. Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jai
Jai
Jai
Janendra.
Jai Jai Jai.
Jai.
It's okay. All conditions we can close down. Ayushi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think we should now close down this session. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Yeah.
Bye, sir.